It's Shakesyear time! I'm trying out a different beginning. I don't know if that was effective or not. Anyway, we are working on Shakespeare. We are working on Henry V. This is a very long monologue that King Henry V has in Act 4, Scene 1, which, if you remember, he is currently dressed as Lord Erpingham, and he's walking around, and he was just chatting with a couple of soldiers by the names of Bates and Williams. And he sort of gets into it a little bit with Williams over whether or not a king should be held responsible for the men who die in wars that the king wanted to go to. And the king and Williams exchange gauntlets, which they put in their hats, so that if they ever run into each other again, they can say, oh yeah, you were the dude I was supposed to be fighting. But keep in mind, Henry is dressed as Erpingham, so technically it's in Erpingham's hat, not Henry's. But anyway, they decide that yes, they will fight later, but now they have to fight the French. And King Henry says, indeed, the French may lay 20 French crowns to 1. They will beat us, for they bear them on their shoulders. But it is no English treason to cut French crowns, and tomorrow the king himself will be a clipper. And then everybody else leaves, and he has the stage to himself. Upon the king, let us our lives, our souls, our debts, our careful wives, our children, and our sins lay on the king. We must bear all. Oh, hard condition, twin born with greatness, subject to the breath of every fool whose sense no more can feel but his own ringing. What infinite heart's ease must kings neglect that private men enjoy? And what have kings that privates have not too, save ceremony, save general ceremony? And what art thou, thou idle ceremony? What kind of God art thou, that sufferest more of mortal griefs than do thy worshippers? What are thy rents? What are thy comings in? O ceremony, show me but thy worth. What, is thy soul of adoration? Art thou aught else but place, degree, and form, creating awe and fear in other men, wherein thou art less happy being feared than they in fearing? What drink'st thou oft instead of homage sweet, but poisoned flattery? Oh, be sick, great greatness, and bid thy ceremony give thee cure. Think'st thou the fiery fever will go out with titles blown from adulation? Will it give place to flexure and low bending? Canst thou, when thou command'st the beggar's knee, command the health of it? No, thou proud dream that placed so subtly with a king's repose. I am a king that find thee, and I know 'tis not the balm, the scepter and the ball, the sword, the mace, the crown imperial, the intertissued robe of gold and pearl, the farced title running for the king, the throne he sits upon, nor the tide of pomp that beats upon the high shore of this world. No, not all these, thrice glorious ceremony, not all these, laid in bed majestical, can sleep so soundly as the wretched slave, who with a body filled and a vacant mind gets him to rest, crammed with distressful bread, never sees horrid night, the child of hell, but like a lackey from the rise to set, sweats in the eye of Phoebus, and all night sleeps in Elysium. Next day after dawn doth rise and help Hyperion to his horse, and follow so the ever-running year with profitable labor to his grave, and but for ceremony, such a wretch, winding up days with toil and nights with sleep, had the forehand and vantage of a king. The slave, a member of the country's peace, enjoys it. But in gross brain little wots, what watch the king keeps to maintain the peace, whose hours the peasant best advantages. It's a beautiful piece. It's a beautiful piece. It's very similar to one that King Henry IV had in the previous plays, the "Oh, heavy hangs the head that wears the crown," or something to that effect. I know you've heard that quote before, and I just misquoted it. But the idea that a king feels the weight of his whole kingdom, and here he's saying that none of these things that he has as the king do anything to negate that, and he feels like he's trying really hard to keep an eye out for his people and to make sure that his people are able to sleep and enjoy peace and have full stomachs and good lives. And all it does is sort of destroy him to have to do it, because he's not allowed to feel the stuff, and because he lies awake at night just worrying about stuff and things. And it's just, it's a great piece. It's a great piece. Anyway, we get to hear once more from King Henry in Act 4, Scene 1 before the scene is over, and then we get on with the war, because that's why we're all here, right? We want to see some war. That's what this play's about. Maybe. Anyway, I'll see you tomorrow for more.